Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is the business of law, corporate transactions, and compliance. We have with us Neeraj Dubey, the founder and managing partner at the Valid Points Law Offices. With 19 years of experience in corporate law, Neeraj has built a formidable career specializing in contract negotiations, IT laws, data protection, intellectual property, corporate compliance, dispute resolution. His expertise spans multiple industries, guiding businesses through the complexities of technology law, regulatory frameworks, and commercial transactions. Beyond his legal practice, he is also a passionate educator, sharing insights with aspiring lawyers through guest lectures and thought leadership articles. Join us as we explore the evolution of corporate law, the future of tech regulations, and what it takes to build a successful law firm in today's fast changing legal landscape. And we also uncover Neeraj as a person, his personal journey also. So, welcome Neeraj to the Coffee Corner Show.
Thank you, Amir.
So let me explain you the flow and the format. It is in three parts: professional journey round, personal journey round, and a surprise rapid fire round, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's a give legal AI 101.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startup SMEs with world-class technology and tech training solutions. So my first question for your professional journey round, Neeraj. You have had a long and successful career in corporate and technology law. What inspired you to specialize in this niche area?
So, Amir, I'm a first generation lawyer. So, I had no idea how this profession should be perceived in totality. What I understood as an amateur that technology is the way forward, as it had started invading all aspects of life, and it is going to impact law or legal practice in a much greater way. So I started focusing on technology law, its impact on different sectors like banking, pharma, corporate governance, compliance, departmental work, defense, aviation, and so on. In an era emblematically dubbed as the information age, data has emerged as the new currency, driving economies, shaping businesses, and influencing whatnot. So my foray into the domain of data protection and privacy laws was not just a mere professional inclination, but a response to the, I would say, clarion call of the times. The confluence of technological advancement, the proliferation of digital platforms, and the inherent value of data have made data protection and privacy paramount. So corporate law happened to me as in my formative years, we were given companies to handle, which means all issues arising in that company were supposed to be handled by us. So understanding corporate for day-to-day handholding of clients became crucial. It still remains so. Any business structuring, decision making, or corporate governance would require a good understanding of corporate law. And when you say the word specialize, I do not agree to that completely. Focus on specific areas of law to become specialist was not common in my initial 10-15 years of practice when I started in 2004. It was always dependent on how one's practice is shaped and how they have come to terms with the areas they have been working on, eventually focusing on one or two areas to be considered a go-to lawyer in the industry. So it was my inclination to explore new areas of law and their implications in our lives that inspired me to focus on tech laws and corporate laws.
Wow. So Neeraj, you have worked extensively in contract drafting, negotiation, compliance. What's the key to a watertight contract, according to you?
Every contract, I would say, is different and specific for the purpose it is entered. They should not be templated. Templates can help organizations to some extent, but definitely not the lawyers who work on them, as it stops evolution and adoption of new ideas, which is roadblock to critical practical thinking for lawyers. With this premise, one should understand the key requirements in the contract they have to draft. What are the crucial elements that one has to negotiate for its client, and comprehend the compliances from all applicable laws. For compliances, it is better to keep a checklist handy to avoid missing anything that can cost dear to your client. Contracts can be watertight with respect to the requirements of your client, but then watertight concept itself is a fallacy. It remains an aspirational goal, and what one can achieve is the possibility of having a robust contract that can minimize the risk of disputes, involves no issues in enforceability, and minimizes ambiguity. Focus should always be on the attention to details, legal as well as business, focus on your client's interest, and completeness of the objectivity handled to you.
So, Neeraj, with laws around data protection and cybersecurity becoming stricter, how should business prepare for compliance in today's time?
So, entities need to understand the data that they are using, segregate them, understand what precaution needs to be taken against each categories of data, have a robust compliance system and paperwork in place to secure the interest of the organization. Engage with experts for consultations to help understand the entire regulatory regime, compliances, and do what needs to be done. Securing the data is crucial. So I would say it is in the entire data lifecycle management is something that organization to start adopting. How to procure data, who can procure, why to procure, what to procure, where to keep, when to delete, who can have access, till when to keep, how to secure the data, steps to be taken if there is any breach in security, how to secure the interest of the organization while dealing with data and its security. These are key questions that every organization should know and address about the data they use. And businesses should also implement comprehensive strategies like establishing a data privacy policy, conducting regular training sessions, appointing a data protection officer, and continuously monitoring and updating security measures. They should also implement strong security policies, maintain detailed documentation, and conduct regular internal audit. These are very key and crucial steps that organizations should take.
Wow. Okay. So, Neeraj, what are the biggest legal risks tech companies face today and how can they mitigate them?
So, what I have seen from my experience so far, cybersecurity, AI adoption, product liability, professional liability, regulatory compliances, and intellectual property remains the biggest risks for companies. So, when it comes to cybersecurity, it affects big and small companies alike. So, it is important for them to create the culture of awareness within the organization about this and have a compliance system in place. Same goes with AI, wherein for adopting any AI solution within the organization, there should be proper training, appropriate policies should be there, and engagement with professionals is key. When it comes to product liabilities, in today's age, a seemingly minor issue can create a cascading problem for entities that we have seen in social media. So companies need to be fully sure about their products, testing, compliances, and all certifications. It's better to use a product lifecycle management system. And in terms of professionals, we know we all are humans, to err is human. So it is better that corporates realize that professionals, employees are bound to make mistakes. Negligence or misrepresentation or non-compliance, contractual breaches can cost dear to organizations. Keep your paperwork in order, all licenses in place and updated. All relationships should be paper-based. So contracts should be in place. Have a robust email communication policy within the organization to avoid getting into issues, and have the right D&O insurance coverage. Then comes the regulatory compliance aspect. They have always an important and would continue to be so. So again, engage with professionals, and I always say right professionals. So you should know what CA can do, what CS can do, what a litigating lawyer or corporate lawyer can do when you need IP agents. So entities can also deploy software for the purposes of having regulatory compliances in place, and appoint a compliance officer. The last is the intellectual property safeguard. With the usage of AI, we are seeing the way AI is becoming unsafe in the digital space. So IPs define the entities with the kind of trade name, trademarks they have created, the brands they create, which resonate with their identity. So it is crucial to have not only non-disclosure agreements within and outside the organization and registrations of IP, but also have proper IP, I would say online IP security system in place, wherein you can check IP infringement, train employees and consult experts for such IP policy and system for the organization.
Wow. So, Neeraj, how do you see emerging technologies like blockchain and AI shaping corporate law in the next decade?
AI and blockchain, they are very key technologies, I would say, and the way they have been shaping the legal profession so far. And I'll purely speak from the legal profession perspective. So they have been helping the systems in a much greater way. These new technologies uh, will redefine everything, right from the conduct of a boardroom, compliance system, document management, service delivery to whatnot. Corporate lawyers would need to catch up with all these new age policies, regulations, and laws emerging not only in India, but all around us, everywhere, right? So they can understand the overall impact on corporates in India. AI is revolutionizing the legal profession in ways that are unimaginable. And automated document review that we see in our law firms now, legal research to predictive analysis. This has started shaping legal practices within the firms. Blockchain's ability to provide secure, transparent, and immutable record keeping is already being harnessed in Indian law firms as well. And we are seeing smart contracts in play. These are self-executing contracts. And once the terms are met, the contracts automatically gets executed. Now, blockchain also ensures all parties involved in a legal matter are verified and authenticated, reducing the risks of fraud or identity theft. That's why it holds the key in today's day and age. It can also help in the ways property and assets are transferred by providing a transparent, secure, and permanent record of transactions. The last one is cloud computing, which has already had a significant impact on the legal industry, allowing law firms to work more effectively and collaborate seamlessly no matter where they're located. The legal industry is constantly evolving and staying up to date on emerging technologies. Attend conferences, read industry reports, and network with other professionals to learn about the latest innovations and how they can benefit the firm.
Beautiful. So, Neeraj, how has the corporate legal landscape evolved over the last 2 decades? What major shifts have you observed?
Oh, so last 2 decades have been very, I would say, great changes have happened. And if I have to comprehend from a pure book-driven research to completely relying on online research, only physical appearances in courts to online or hybrid models of appearances, only physical meetings or audits to online meetings and data rooms, we have come a long way in these 20 years. The AI has already started creating its space and changing the practices in firms to begin with. So I can see that the corporate legal profession has witnessed transformative changes since my inception into the field, most notably in the seamless integration of technological advancements into everyday legal practice, like the use of AI, deep fakes, machine learning, autonomous vehicles, and various other technologies. In this year and coming times, I anticipate a continuous evolution in digital law services, an intensified focus on cybersecurity measures, and progressive developments in the regulatory framework governing AI and data utilization. These changes will necessitate a legal acumen that is both foresighted and adaptable to the emerging trends and challenges.
Wow. So, Neeraj, how does mediation and alternative dispute resolution compare to traditional litigation in corporate disputes?
Mediation and
ADR.
ADR. Okay. So mediation at its core is a facilitated negotiation process. So it hinges on the principle of collaboration or collaborative dialogue, with a neutral third-party mediator assisting the disputing parties in reaching a mutually agreeable solution. So that third-party mediator does not decide for you. The parties have to decide what they want to do. What always captivated me about mediation was its inherent flexibility and emphasis on preserving relationships. Given its non-adversarial nature, mediation is particularly effective in disputes where preserving the ongoing relationship between the parties is paramount. Mediation proceedings are confidential, ensuring that the nuances of the dispute as well as shared information during the process remain private. Unlike the rigid processes which are followed in courts, mediation offers flexibility. Mediation is faster, less expensive than traditional litigation. So there's a significant advantage in mediation that we see. Arbitration is a process where disputing parties agree to be bound by the decision of an arbitrator or a panel of arbitrators. So it is akin to a private court proceeding where the arbitrator plays the role of that of a judge. So my engagement with arbitration often involves high risk or high stake commercial disputes where parties sought a specialized adjudicating process. Parties can choose arbitrators with specific expertise. Parties have significant control over the arbitration process. Arbitral awards are enforceable, and under the New York Convention, your award is enforceable in more than 160 countries. Arbitration proceedings are also confidential, protecting the interest of parties, but then arbitration award can be challenged in court. So, throughout my professional journey, I've always been an advocate of choosing the right tool for the right task. While litigation has its place in a dispute resolution spectrum, the advantages of ADR mechanism, mediation, arbitration, they are undeniable. They offer parties an opportunity to craft their narrative, define their process, seek resolutions that are not just legally sound, but also emotionally and commercially satisfying. However, a note of caution I always share with the clients is that ADR success is contingent on the willingness of parties to engage in good faith, the competence of mediators or arbitrators, and the nature of dispute itself. So there are scenarios where traditional litigation might be more apt, especially when there is a need for judicial precedent or when the power dynamics between the parties are significantly skewed. So my experience with mediation, and I'm a trained mediator. So my experience with mediation and arbitration have reaffirmed my belief in the power of dialogue, importance of specialized adjudication, and the potential of alternative avenues in delivering justice.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, Neeraj, you have pursued further legal education at Golden Gate University. How has that experience shaped your approach to law?
Okay, so doing further studies after gaining substantial experiences, it helps you understand the generational gaps in understanding the same situations, right? A new perspective is added. So as I told you, I'm trained mediator. So when I did my mediation training at camp here in Bangalore, I was already a joint partner and had wonderful cohort to learn from apart from the faculties and guests. So there were few, I would say, retired judges and sitting judges who were part of my cohort then. Same goes with the XLRI course on transformational leadership, where I had the opportunity to be with a cohort of non-lawyers and at a senior level. LLM was just another logical step. I wanted to understand how the curriculum has advanced and how lecturing process has become more organized. How would the new principles, international practices, shaping the courses and training the lawyers right? It helped to a certain extent, that I must confess, but then again, there is always a great gap between what we read or are taught to what we practice. So I cannot equate the practice with education or institution. However, the fresh perspective is the key takeaway for me.
Wow. Thank you for leading me. Uh, After learning so much, you are giving back to society. You have been actively involved in legal education, Neeraj. What gaps do you see in law school curriculum in India today?
Okay. So gaps exist in practical skills, I would say real world experience, and the integration of technology and evolving legal landscapes. A lack of focus on essential skills like client interaction and business development, which also hinders graduates' immediate effectiveness. So, drafting. The law schools, they focus on research. They do not teach draftings to students. At most, they can teach you pleadings, which is the drafting of the court. I have seen that students, when asked to make presentation, they do a wonderful job. But when asked to write the same thing, they do a very shoddy job. They should keep practicing writing, beginning with summarizing simple case laws or laws that they read in their own words. This will help. Then there's an issue of superficial knowledge. Knowledge of a student is purely based on what they are taught in 5 6 month semester, and that too based on a curriculum. So the courses try to cover a lot because they have to show that they have covered the entire spectrum. But the students do not get sufficient time to dig deeper into the subjects. Even internships, I would say, are not sufficient or adequate to help them learn. They do 1 month internship in a firm. So very rarely they get opportunities to work on active assignments. Otherwise, their contributions are restricted to research or non-billable works. And the last important aspect is communication. Students are not taught communication skills, which is the most crucial aspect of the profession in corporate as well as litigation. It is important for students to understand the specific skills required for a courtroom or a boardroom or drafting a business memo or petitions to be filed.
So, as you rightly said, writing, researching is essential. And I've been following you on LinkedIn. You publish different types of contents, and especially coffee speakers who publish and write on any like LinkedIn, their books and whatever. We make it a point to follow their work, engage, comment. And so my question is, how do you decide what type of content to create and publish on LinkedIn?
So that totally depends on what is going on in the industry and what kind of clients I'm advising to, because that saves time, right? You're currently working on similar assignments and then you have your research ready. So you know about the latest cases and then you can simply put it out there. So that's the most important aspects. And plus, this is converting your experience as a suggestion to the people who are reading your posts so that they get the message and they try to avoid making those mistakes. So that's a simple rule that I follow. Plus, if anything new comes up, any new law that will have wider impact in the industry or the clients that I have, people that I follow. So I write about those laws as well.
So let's go to now your law firm. What is the story behind naming of your law firm the Valid Points Law Office? What challenges have you faced in building your law firm?
So I'd say 2023 was a watershed moment in my career, and the decision to establish a law firm emanated from a deep-seated desire to create a law firm that was reflective of my beliefs and principles. Excuse me. And I did not want to have my name on the wall kind of a law firm. It should have a neutral name which would justify, and if I happen to create a legacy, then it can be carried forward by others, right? So over the years, I had identified a lot of gaps in the legal service delivery models, areas that could benefit from innovation and sectors that were underserved. So Valid Point was conceptualized to address these very gaps that I had identified. Another motivating factor was the rapidly evolving legal landscape, the dawn of the digital age, the globalization of businesses, and the increasing complexity of legal issues. They demanded fresh approach. So a new kind of law firm that was agile, forward thinking, and deeply committed to excellence. And I would say my interactions over the years with different clients made me realize the importance of client-centric approach. Clients are not just seeking legal advice from you, they were in pursuit of holistic solutions, of partnerships that added value to their endeavors. So Valid Point was founded with a vision to not just be a law firm, but a trusted partner to our clients, an institution that stood by them through their challenges and triumphs. Initial challenges were to get the right pitch for the client so that our principles and services were acceptable to them. As I told you, I started a completely virtual firm. This gave a lot of flexibility to us, but a lot of clients could not fathom, could not understand how can one function in a completely virtual environment. So gradually, those who understood embraced us and have found greater value in what and how we deliver.
Thank you. I was going to ask you that question, Leo, what your hybrid remote ways of working. So it can encourage more yeah, law firms to adopt this kind of working and get more people and have, what do you say, lawyers from around the world on a law firm's team. Okay. So, Neeraj, what's been the most memorable case you have worked on and how did you navigate it?
Okay, so I can't say one assignment would be more closer to my heart, but there are several assignments which are very close, and they rather stay with me to tell stories to people. So one particular instance that I can narrate here is the in early 2010, that era witnessed an uptick in the global interest in renewable energy. So one European conglomerate, having made significant inroads in renewable energy in its home territory, sought to expand its footprints in India. And given the potential scale of the investment and complexity of Indian regulatory system that they see, so they engaged with us, and I started working for them. So central laws, there are state laws, incentive structures, licensing requirements. So a meticulous understanding of all these requirements and navigation strategies so that non-lawyers and business people who are enforcing or leading those projects are able to understand. Then acquisition of land for large-scale renewable energy project is fraught with complexity in India. You need to have a proper understanding as to how you can acquire lands in specific state of operation. So you need to navigate through legal intricacies of land rights, proper compensation, addressing local community concerns. And the conglomerate, this client, was considering partnership with local entities as well. So this required exhaustive due diligence to understand the financial health, operational viability, and legal compliance of potential partners. So beyond the, I would say, black letter law, there were challenges related to understanding and navigating the Indian business ethos, the cultural nuances, negotiation tactics, then taxation laws, especially concerning the foreign investments and profit repatriation, required careful strategizing to ensure compliance and fiscal prudence, protecting the client's proprietary technologies in the new jurisdiction, because this is renewable energy we are talking about. And there's a lot of R&D that has gone into that sector. So understanding of IP laws and ensuring their robust enforcement. So innumerable challenges required multi-pronged approach to adopt. We constituted multidisciplinary teams, both lawyers, other professionals, non-lawyers, experts in energy law, land rights, taxation, IP. So this holistic strategizing and ensuring all facets of the projects were addressed concurrently. And after nearly 2 years of rigorous legal work, negotiations, going to and fro, strategizing, the client was successfully able to establish its renewable energy venture in India. It's now up and running. I visited the plant. I was so happy to see the fruit of our labor. And one of the most significant foreign investments in Indian renewable energy sector as on date.
Ah. So, Neeraj, how has the leadership style evolved over the years?
So essentially, when I started as an associate, I was involved in a lot of administrative processes as well. So I could see from a very close corner as to how things work in a law firm when it comes to HR. And that's the most important aspect, because HR, and as I understood, and gradually I started doing HR and labor laws, I understood that as the key to any organization, because organizational success, it stands on the quality of the people that you have, right? So that was my first challenge, or I would say that was the first thing that I wanted to do. And I created a system in my firm wherein I give complete flexibility to my team members to work any 8 hours that they prefer. It might be right from 8 a.m. till the evening. They can work at night. They can work anytime that suits them. They just need to maintain two aspects, the quality and the deadlines. If they miss the deadlines, then they get the tick. And then there are, of course, questions and discussions over those. So we created system wherein they do work, they execute work when they are most productive, when their brain functions at the optimum, and they're able to produce the best results. So I believe that leadership is not only about making people work, but also ensuring productive and quality and timely delivery of the requirements that clients have put forth. Then comes the cost element. We work virtually. So cost also was cost effectiveness was also ensured by this. My team members, they can work from any corner of India. They can staycate, they can have vacation anywhere and continue working on the matters. They can have parties in the evening and again come back next day and work from wherever they are. So there's no embargo on any such kind. All meetings are online. And one request that I always have with them is whenever we have physical meetings, some clients, they prefer physical meetings. And say if I don't have office in Hyderabad, if a client insists on having a physical meeting in Hyderabad, I have my colleague in Hyderabad. That colleague can go and attend physical meeting in Hyderabad and log me in virtually. So it saves client a lot of expenses. Plus, he can see the face of the person who is actually working on his or her assignment. So this form of, I would say, environment that I'm creating in my firm, this is actually driving people to stick here, to stay here. And I see this kind of leadership as something which is inspirational for them and for me as well, because it's part of learning, right? When I did that course on transformational leadership, I learned a lot about that leadership is more about internal assessment and internal growth than what others see, right? Because if you grow internally, then only it will reflect to the others that, okay, I can accept this person as a leader. So it becomes very important to work inwards and then start building on something. So that's what I started doing in my firm, and it's working good for me till now.
Wow. So, Neeraj, who has been the biggest influencer, mentor in your legal journey?
Okay. So I would say the first such mentor was Miss Priti Suri. She had a phenomenal influence on me during my initial days. She guided my path to set and work towards achieving better goals in profession, take challenges, and develop an all-encompassing approach towards problem solving. That made me a lawyer who is more inclined to solve problems than just to cite one. So, a great mentor who has been inspiring generations of lawyers in doing good in corporate law. That's what she continues to be. The second influence, I'd say, was Mr. G. Shivadas. So, when I moved to Bangalore, he was my boss here, and his calm and confident approach towards anything coming towards him always inspired me to take challenges head on. A pleasing personality who has inspired generations of lawyers again in doing good in their profession.
Wow. So, my last question for your professional journey round: what advice would you give to young lawyers looking to enter the corporate and technology law sector?
Okay, so I have a lot of advice for them. So, for those embarking on this noble journey of legal practice, I tell them to have a relentless pursuit of adaptability, continuous education, and robust networking. Cultivate a diverse skill set that spans technical legal expertise and essential interpersonal skills, such as effective communication, critical analysis, which are fundamental for success in increasing complex and diverse and dynamic field of law. So embrace the journey with passion. Law, unlike many other professions, is not just a vocation, it's a calling. It demands not just intellectual acumen, but also a fervent passion. So my initial years in profession taught me that passion serves as the bedrock upon which perseverance, dedication, and excellence are built. Lifelong learning is the key. The edifice of law is in perpetual evolution. So, as we discussed, the 20 years of my experience, how things changed, though shaped by socio-economic changes, technological advancement, and the inexorable march of time. The academic rigors of law schools, while foundationals, are just the beginning. Embrace a mindset of lifelong learning and cultivate a holistic perspective. Law does not operate in vacuum. It intersects with politics, economics, sociology, technology, numerous other disciplines. So this interdisciplinary perspective enriches legal understanding and fosters innovative solutions. And then again, develop a robust communication skill, the power of eloquence, clarity, persuasion, they cannot be overstated in our profession. Building relationships, networks is so important. Nurturing mentor-mentee relationship, cultivating camaraderie with peers can open doors, offers fresh perspectives, provide invaluable support during challenging times. Upholding ethics and integrity is a wonderful idea that it would help you shine the brightest. And resilience in the face of adversity. The path of legal practice is strewn with challenges, difficult cases, professional setbacks, demanding boss, daunting opponents, and moral dilemmas. So, in these moments of adversity, resilience becomes your greatest ally. Draw strength from past successes, learn from failures, and always remember why you choose this noble profession. Take yourself seriously, train yourself well, periodically pause, introspect, assess your growth, realign your goals, and recalibrate your strategies. This will ensure a long journey for you.
Wow. So, I'm asking you, I'm a little curious because you're working in a remote format. So, How has technology helped you, and what are the different legal tech tools or technology products you have set up at your law firm, the Valid Points?
So since we are virtual, everything is technology based. So I'll not give you the names of the products that I use, but currently we are talking, right, in a online environment. So the same applies to day-to-day meetings that we hold with clients or with my colleagues, any strategy meeting, any assignment related discussions. So we continue to do this. The second one is with respect to the data management. So we have cloud-based services. We have services for document management, contract management. We have softwares that helps us in billing and accounting, HR management softwares. So I think all the law firms, they're dependent on these softwares, right? What is missing, I would say, is one comprehensive software which clubs all of them to have a robust solution. So we are still looking for that, or maybe you never know, that comes in the market, or we go out and engage somebody to develop that for us. So that kind of a software, right, from which provides end-to-end solution to us, right, which has also the requirements which the people from the BD and PR teams demand from us for filing for the nominations or listings. So they need data, and they can extract data from there. They'll not bother the lawyers or partners for taking the data out. They can create their own set of forms, and it would become seamless. So we are still looking for that software, but of course we are totally dependent on softwares and technology.
So let's go next round and understand Neeraj as a person. Tell us about a family and a formative years.
Okay, so I'm a first generation lawyer. I completed my law from Campus Law Center, Delhi University. My father was a professor, mother was a housewife, and I married a lawyer. The trajectory, I would say, from an associate to the position of managing partner here is an intricate tapestry of professional growth, personal revelations, deepening commitments to my ethical practice, committed client service, and effortless relationship management. So, as an associate, I was initiated into the world of legal practice under the aegis of seasoned professionals. I've already named a few. This foundational period was critical. My days were characterized by exhaustive research, and those days, in my initial days, research was book-based, which we gradually shifted to computers, drafting legal memorandum, interfacing with clients, and assisting senior lawyers in assignments or projects. So you learn not just the letter of law, but its spirit. It was a period of intense learning where every case, every client interaction added a new dimension to my understanding of legal profession.
Wow. So, Neeraj, what's one hobby or creative pursuit that helps you to recharge and rejuvenate?
Okay, so there are a few things that I do. The first is I keep reading books. So I have I would say, a vast interest base. So I read books on religion, mythology, legal books, of course, and philosophy, history. So I have studied a lot of subjects. So I keep on going back to those subjects, read their books. And then I spend a lot of time with my family, my wife and my son. My son is very young, and we play Lego together, and that helps me unwind. And then there's music, which we listen as a family. Then there are some other genre that I like more, so I listen personally, and all these things helps unwind.
Wow. So, what's that one book or movie that has made an impact on you, and what were the key learnings?
One book. So, from again legal perspective, I would say first 90 days. There's a book. Uh, it talks about how you should conduct yourself in the first 90 days in any organization, right? And it gives you a lot of key pieces of information, of practices, of do's and don'ts that you should be doing to ensure that how you uh, marry to that organization and create a seamless process so that you continue to become part of that organization. You're acceptable, right? And you also accept the organizations, both way process. So that is something that I always suggest people to read. That's one. The movie, there are a lot of movies, and I don't think I'll recommend any movie, but whatever people love to see, what love to watch in any language, they can.
So, Neeraj, if your friends had to describe you in 3 words, what would it be?
So I'd say dependable, solution-driven person, because they often come to me when they have problems and when they want something in Bangalore. Most of my friends are not in Bangalore, they're outside. So I often get phone calls from my school friends, college friends, friends from campus, or early days of profession. And I've stayed in all parts of India. So I'm connected. I'm from Ranchi, which is now called Dhoni's town. Then I've stayed in Delhi, studied in Delhi in Campus Law Center, and I stayed there for 16 years. Then moved to Bangalore, married to a woman who is from Bombay. So I've pretty much covered all parts of India.
Wow, beautiful. So, what are your goals for 2025, personally, professionally, Neeraj?
So professionally, I have to keep working hard and uh, I have to create a niche for transactions practice. So that is the key focus, and more push in the data protection cybersecurity practice. These are the two key areas in which we are working very, I would say, enthusiastically. And from the post, you would see that the first half has been completely dedicated to cybersecurity and cyber crimes, data protection, right? And will continue to do so all around the year. And the transactions is something that will we have been focusing at the back end, and it will come to the media as well. Personally, I would say I am focusing more from the health perspective, because I'm at a certain age when I've seen people in my family, my friends, that they started developing one or the other ailments, and I don't want to get into any of these troubles. So, exercising, meditation. So, I have certain goals that I've fixed. I wear watches to keep a track of the food I take, what I drink, where how much I walk, how much I exercise, so everything. So this is something which I do, and I audit myself weekly basis, monthly basis, and then also engage with other people. You cannot do this in isolation. So you need to have circle of friends and well-wishers who can do some of these activities with you so that they can keep pushing you, you push them. So it works in tandem. So that's what I've been trying to do this year.
Wow. My last one is a googly one, Neeraj. Describe Neeraj in one line.
So, I'm a very shy person, very reserved. But of course, if anybody approaches me, I can tell a lot of stories. I can talk endlessly, but one has to approach first, right? Then I can be a dependable, solution-driven person for them.
Okay. Let's have some fun. The rapid fire round. Your go-to comfort food.
Ah, Dal chawal.
Wow. Corporate law or tech law?
Tech law.
You're a morning person or night owl?
Morning.
One legal principle you swear by.
Ah, ignorance juris non excusate. So ignorance of
Wow.
law is no excuse.
Your dream travel place.
Himalayas, entire
Wow.
range, all the Himalayas.
Favorite cuisine from Ranchi.
Litti choka.
Wow, mine is. I've had the fortune of having in Mumbai. There are certain places
Yeah,
on street,
yeah,
people from Ranchi, Bihar, they are selling.
yeah.
So yeah, two, three places which I've discovered and had the fortune of having. So one place is nearby home.
Oh, one.
Yeah. So so good. What do you say? Snack.
Yeah,
Okay. Uh, Favorite place in Bangalore to
Malleshwaram.
visit? Wow.
It gives
Let's
you
go to
that
Delhi.
small
Sorry.
town feeling. I've lived there, and I've lived there for almost 3.5 years. And you can actually walk down the lanes. There are history walks that I've attended, and
Hmm.
all the restaurants in that area. That gives you wonderful taste. So when I was in Delhi, never visited South India. So for me, taste of South Indian food was limited to Sarvana Bhavan. But when I came here and started tasting the food here, I was it opened gate of wonderful and diverse taste of same dosa and idli and sambar and rasam for me. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. The entire 10 years that I've spent in Bangalore, I've enjoyed different and diverse food here. So Malleshwaram has been, I would say, the gateway for me for this entire experience.
Wow. Okay. What do you like in Delhi?
The infrastructure and of course food also.
So, if someone is in Delhi, what are your recommendations to have food?
I have spent a lot of time in Barakamba, so go to Bengali market, have chaat. You can have chaat
Mhm.
from UPSC as well. The wonderful places
Mhm.
to have chaat, and that's what I will recommend.
Wow. So, tea or coffee to recharge?
The desi chai, kullad wali chai. And in
Yes, yes.
Bangalore, I'm exposed to a wonderful variety of coffee. This is coffee, by the way. So, filter coffee
Yeah,
here is wonderful.
yeah. Bangalore is famous. All up now south.
Yeah, yeah,
Bruce was filter coffee there. They say
yeah,
coffee.
yeah.
So you did well, and here's your book, which will be autographed and sent to you, Neeraj.
Thank
So,
you.
friends, it was a lovely conversation. How Neeraj is a go-to lawyer, different areas of law he practices, and also creates content. And he's a family man. So, uh, and he also keeps himself upgraded with different courses. He also gives back to society. So this is what our coffee speakers bring to the table about their interesting journey, professional, personal, and what keeps them motivated. So subscribe to the Coffee Conversation Show on YouTube, which has over 450 plus episodes in this 5 years journey, and get inspired. And if you will be featured like Neeraj, visit our LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or a company website, the Emerging India Forum, and our team will invite you to have conversations or a cup of coffee. So take care. Thank you.
Thank you.